Travis Wayne Goodsell, been packing or pulling things out of the closet. I'm coming out of the closet. This is my out of the closet video. The weird thing is that my uncle thought that doing girl things meant he was gay, and as a kid I wanted to play with girl dolls and the Barbie fashion plates of my sisters, and I have no desire for guys. Whereas guys who play with guy dolls, military men, all that, they turn gay. So yeah, I have to reorganize, repack everything because of the second divorce, which was technically an annulment rather than a divorce, but it was still divorce papers that were signed. So yeah, I just shoved everything in the closet and had not gotten to it. And so here we are. When we had gotten married, I found out about the total solar eclipse a month after, and knew that we needed to have a supply and all sorts of other emergency stuff. So I still have the tent and the two-person sleeping bag. I am losing weight, so it is still two-person. But yeah, if I'm gonna warn other people, I might as well be prepared myself. Like I said, I hope it doesn't happen. I noticed on my website, when I would expose something that I saw that was potentially about to happen, wouldn't you know it, they decide to stop and not go through with it. And so Trump, for example, he would spill misinformation to the press. The press would go, oh, he's going to do this, oh, he's going to do it. And then he doesn't do it, and then he calls the press the fake news. Because they all fell for it. And so, yeah, I'm going to go after those leaks. Who's leaking this stuff? You are, dumbass. So, yeah, I did notice that I was holding things back that would have gone through otherwise. But it doesn't seem like I have that influence anymore with the church shutting down my internet, or not my internet, the website, and the old YouTube channel. It wasn't as powerful of an influence as my website was, but with the parable of the 10 virgins, the oil is what gives light, and Jesus is the way, the truth, and light. Light and truth go hand in hand. So if you're enlightened in your mind, you are supposedly receiving truth, but you don't just assume it's truth. You have to actually turn it into reality, make it flesh, make the things in your head a reality. And so, if you're an architect, you get an idea in your head for a building design, you have to actually do the blueprints. The idea is worthless if you don't make the blueprints. And then, unfortunately, if you have bad ideas, we're going to know you have bad ideas by your fruit, the blueprints. If the blueprints are crap, we know that your idea is bad. And so kids are different. They're at a beginning level. They're trying to learn how to utilize their brain to their physical reality. And so, yeah, you don't go condemning a child to hell because his blueprint of a house is a stick figure. Let kids drink. SNL, if you didn't see that skit. Oh, it was so bad, it was hilarious. Somebody who's a professional to do a stick figure house, you'd have to say, hey, wait a minute, aren't you supposed to be a professional? You got the certificate on your wall and all that stuff. And so, yeah. But that's why I'm warning you about Nelson. He's an MD. And he just tossed aside and said, oh, we're now going to exercise faith without works, because even though I'm a scientist, I'm also a man of faith. And that's what he said. Not me. He said it. And so he's responsible for the murder of a number of Mormons who have chosen to follow him rather than medical doctors of science. Or Herbert instead of medical doctors of science. And so, in regards to knowledge, people in the world can be ignorant as well. It's not just Mormons who are ignorant. It's just a different kind of ignorance. For Mormons, it's a naivete. Naivete, the French version. But for those in the world, it's just plain ignorance. They hear and assume things, which Mormons do too on other things, but just assume. So, for example, a subscriber to my old and new channels saw this symbol on my ring. And so she makes a comment, are you wearing a satanic ring? It looks just like the pentagram. There are several things wrong with her comment. One, no, this is not a satanic ring. So this is the ignorance that I'm talking about. She hears things from people, and, all star symbols are therefore evil. Because a pentagram is not evil either. An inverted pentagram turns it into evil. That's the symbolism of Satan. The inverted pentagram. Not the pentagram, not the Jewish star. But the inverted pentagram. The Jewish star, I've told you, it's made up of two triangles. One going up, one going down. The one going up is for men. It's the symbol of the man. The one going down is the symbol of woman, and they are united as one. And thus, a star, and also understood as a sun, which the sun is understood as a giant star. And that's when you know astronomy, the little stars in the sky are suns also. Except for the moving ones, while the ones we can visibly recognize are moving, not just with the revolving of the earth, but those are planets. But if you're going to play ignorant and then use your ignorance to either do what Mormons do and gloss over the truth, or do what this subscriber did and go on the attack, it's just, he's got to cut it out. Because misinformation and disinformation comes from the adversary, Lucifer, in religious terms. And that's not light and truth. So for somebody to make that kind of a statement, for Mormons to ignore the inverted pentagram, that all shows that you don't have the truth. Mormons don't have the truth. Those out in the world who want to believe whatever anybody tells them without fact-checking, without replicating it, making it real, to find out once and for all whether it's good or bad. You guys are just living your lives in lies. And people who know the truth, who are trying to teach it to people, it's frustrating when people say, oh, well, my mama says it's of the devil. Water boy. Unfamiliar with that reference. Mama was telling him a bunch of lies because she didn't want him cohorting with a female. But Vicky Valancourt showed him the truth. She's not of the devil, Mama. Oh, I'm losing it. I'm getting tired already. Alrighty. So, yeah, I may do a video showing you the backpacks I've assembled. We'll see. I'd have to do it with my camera, and then that'll take extra work. So I don't know if I'm going to do it.